1. Sleep gets weirder. You'd think, as life's frantic pace begins to settle and the all-nighters of your youth become a distant memory, that sleep would be a welcome refuge. You imagine long, peaceful nights of deep, restorative slumber. The reality is a cruel joke. Aging wages a silent war on your sleep, and it fights dirty. It all starts with your circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, which decides to go rogue. Suddenly, 4 a.m. is your new alarm clock, one you never set and cannot snooze. You don't wake up groggy. You wake up startlingly, unnervingly alert. Your brain, for reasons it refuses to explain, decides this is the perfect time to review every embarrassing thing you've ever done, draft an email to your boss, and worry about a conversation you had in 2007. The science is clear. As we age, our brains produce less melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time for bed. Our sleep architecture changes. The deep restorative non-REM sleep stages shorten, and the dream-filled REM cycles become more fragmented. You spend more time in the lighter stages of sleep, making you easier to wake. 2. Friendships fade. This is one of the quietest heartbreaks of getting older. It doesn't happen with a dramatic fight or a tearful goodbye. It happens in the silence between text messages. One day, you're scrolling through your phone and realize your last conversation with your college best friend, the person who held your hair back, who was the first call after you got the job, was 6 months ago. It was a string of happy birthday emojis. Life, with its relentless demands of career, family, and mortgages, becomes the unintentional saboteur of your social life. The physical distance might be miles or just a few suburbs, but the distance in routines and priorities is what truly creates the chasm. The casual, spontaneous hangouts of your 20s are replaced by a logistical nightmare of scheduling a coffee date 3 weeks in advance, only for it to be canceled because a kid gets sick. 3. The body starts whispering, then yelling. In your 20s, your body is a resilient, self-healing marvel. You could eat terribly, sleep erratically, and bounce back from a night out with little more than a craving for greasy food. Then slowly things begin to change. It starts with whispers, a knee that cracks every time you take the stairs, a slight twinge in your lower back after sitting for too long. You dismiss it. You're just tired. You slept funny. Then the whispers turn into conversation, and eventually the conversation becomes a full-throated yell. You pull a muscle getting out of bed, not from a heroic athletic feat, but from the simple act of shifting your weight incorrectly. This is a special kind of humiliation. A sneeze can throw your back out for a week. The catalog of mysterious aches and pains grows daily. The worst part is the validation you seek from a doctor who calmly looks at you and delivers the soul-crushing verdict. That's perfectly normal for your age. It's a dismissal that feels like a diagnosis of decay. 4. Food betrays you. There was a time when your digestive system was your loyal ally, a cast-iron stomach that could handle anything you threw at it. A midnight pizza, a ghost pepper-laced curry, a third margarita, no problem. Then, seemingly overnight, that ally turns into a moody, temperamental traitor. The foods you once loved now wage war on your insides. That spicy dish that used to be a thrill? It now guarantees a night of searing acid reflux that has you propped up on 3 pillows, chugging antacids. That glorious cheesy pizza? It leaves you bloated for 24 hours, feeling like an overinflated balloon. And alcohol, the fun is gone. A couple of glasses of wine, once a pleasant way to unwind, now destroys your sleep quality and rewards you with a 2-day hangover that feels like a legitimate illness. You can feel the inflammation in your joints the next morning. 5. Regret hits. Different regret is a lifelong companion, but it changes its character as you age. When you're younger, regrets are often about correctable mistakes. Saying the wrong thing at a party, failing an exam, getting a bad haircut. They sting, but they are temporary. There's always another party, another class, and hair grows back. You have the comforting buffer of time. In your 30s and 40s, regret deepens. It becomes less about what you did and more about what you didn't do. The paths not taken begin to echo with a haunting resonance. The career you were passionate about but abandoned for a more sensible option. The great love you let slip away because of fear or immaturity. The city you always dreamed of living in. These aren't just missteps. They feel like permanent forks in the road, and you're now too far down your current path to turn back. 6. You become your parents. This is perhaps the most humbling and weirdly universal truth of them all. You spend your entire adolescence and young adulthood defining yourself in opposition to your parents. You swear you will never say their phrases, adopt their habits, or listen to their music. Then one day, you're stuck in traffic, and without a trace of irony, you hear yourself mutter, Good grief, what is this person doing? And it's your father's voice. The transformation is insidious and total. That music your kids or younger colleagues are listening to, it's just meaningless noise. You complain about kids these days and their phones. You find a deep, almost spiritual satisfaction in a well-organized garage or a new, powerful vacuum cleaner. You have strong opinions on the correct setting for the thermostat. You save glass jars and plastic containers because they might be useful for something. You make a little grunt every time you stand up or sit down. 7. Time. Warps. When you were a child, a summer vacation felt like an eternity. A single year was a vast expanse of time in which anything could happen. Now, time plays tricks on you. It accelerates in a way that is profoundly disorienting. A week feels like a day. A month evaporates in a weekend. A year is gone in the blink of an eye. You put up the holiday decorations and it feels like you just took them down. There's a psychological basis for this. Some theories suggest that our perception of time is relative to how long we've been alive. For a 10-year-old, 1 year is 10% of their entire life. For a 40-year-old, it's a mere 2.5%. The perceived duration of any period of time, let's call it a perceived augusta, seems to be inversely proportional to our current age. It's as if each year is on a subtle but compounding fast forward. This temporal distortion messes with your sense of progress and accomplishment. You keep saying last year when you're talking about something that happened in 2017. The future, which once seemed like a distant horizon, now feels like it's right around the corner. This creates a strange paradox, a sense of urgency mixed with a sense of futility. Everything feels more fragile because you understand that the window of opportunity is closing faster than you can process. You want to make grand plans, but you're keenly aware of how quickly the timeline for those plans is shrinking. 8. You start seeing the end. This is the final, most brutal, and most clarifying truth. For most of your young life, mortality is an abstract concept. It's something that happens to grandparents, to the elderly, in movies. It's not real in a personal, tangible way. Then that changes. It begins when your friend's parents start passing away. Then the real gut punch. You hear about a person your own age, maybe an old classmate or a former colleague, getting a serious diagnosis. You see a post on social media that stops your heart. The firewall between you and the end of the line has been breached. Mortality is no longer a distant philosophical idea. It is a concrete reality that lives in your periphery. You go from feeling like you have infinite time to realizing, in your bones, that your time is a finite, diminishing resource. This realization can crush you, or it can set you free. The terror is real. It's the fear of leaving things undone, of saying goodbye, of the unknown. But on the other side of that terror is a profound and powerful liberation. Suddenly, you stop caring so much about what other people think. The trivial anxieties that used to consume you, impressing the right people, looking perfect, winning petty arguments, are burned away in the face of this ultimate truth. You start ruthlessly prioritizing what actually matters, the people you love, the experiences that bring you joy, the legacy you want to leave. It's terrifying, yes, but it's also the greatest catalyst for living an authentic life. It's the universe's final, most urgent whisper. Don't waste this. What are your thoughts on the truths above? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.